everybody to our first December Academy of Animated Art Community Critique and Chill. We have a couple submissions that have already gotten some feedback, but we figured we'd kind of look at that feedback and chat about what else could be added. But it's great that everyone's using the Discord whipping feedback and leaving feedback. So it's very exciting. And then, yeah, we have one video that I submitted, and then, yeah, we'll just hang around and chat if anyone has questions afterwards or, yeah, sweet. So we will get started. So very first, we can look at Eva's Poker Puss, and there was already some feedback, which we can take a look at. So Keldon left some feedback. Talking about maybe the fireplace elements could use a bit more shaping from the wall window light. Let's see, right now the cards he's looking at don't have the same brightness and glow as some of the others that draw your eye to them. Warm speck light hit on the fire on his screen right tentacles would be nice to make them look slimier. I like that. I would also increase the BG depth of field a little bit more to match the foreground card's level of depth of field, and add a bit of a vignette. Cool. So does anyone have any thoughts on that? Agree with that feedback? Anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, I think that's all good feedback. For the depth of field, yeah, I could see it being like increased in.
Yep, I think you just froze.
Maybe.
Oh, there. Can you say what you were saying one more time?
Oh yeah, no, I was just talking about the depth of field. I think putting the BG out so much to match the foreground is a little bit intense, in my opinion, but like a little bit, bring the foreground down just slightly maybe, and then put the background out a little bit more. I think that would be fine. And yeah, I just think it's overall some good notes to think about.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think we don't want to blur out the background to the point where it feels like a macro shot.
Yeah. The character's face looks really nice though. So yeah, like having some more of that speck on the tentacles as well, screen right tentacles. That's also a good note because the face definitely looks slimy and the tentacles right up against their face also have some nice specular hits. So
yeah, it must be like this light here that's affecting the table is also affecting the tentacles in the face, and so maybe even broadening that out or something to give that slimy feel. Like this one looks very flat in the foreground. It'd be nice if there's like a little bit of a speck hit to separate it. And then I liked Keldon's suggestion of like adding some kind of like warm highlights. I think would be really nice.
Or like cool highlights, I think, from the window.
Highlights. Oh, I'm just looking at them as red. But yeah, you're right. I think the fireplace elements could use a bit more shaping from the wall window light. Yes, cool. Yes, cool highlights. It wouldn't make sense, like practically. I mean, you could use maybe like add a little bit of a warm hit here, but
yes, not from that direction. Yeah, but yeah. Yeah, the set is nice too, though.
Yeah, I think there's lots of nice shaping to the wall.
I don't know if this is intentional, but the picture on the wall is crooked.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think it gives it character.
And then one of the middle lines on the windows pane is also crooked, and I'm wondering if they need a bit more displacement or something on the fireplace, because it looks just like color. It doesn't look like brick because there's not a lot of grout or anything in between. So maybe some more displacement on the bricks of the fireplace. would
Mm-hmm.
be good.
Yeah, yeah. It's right now. It almost feels like it's like a modern
Like
tile or something.
yeah, it's like a tile. If it's a tile, maybe some more spec on it, because
Mhm.
most tiles usually
Yeah,
shinier, or she wants it to look rougher, put a bit more rough displacement on it.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, definitely, probably more warm hits on the fireplace. Um, I think those are the things that jumped out to me the most. Can you zoom out
Yeah.
a little bit? There we go. Yeah, I think the way the light's hitting down, but I don't know, maybe it's a perspective thing. I don't know, something just feels a little weird with the perspective, but it might just be a camera thing. But I think as far as like the basic layout of warm and cool, like how she's got warm hits coming off the fireplace
Mhm.
onto the floor is good. And then, it gets kind of cooler in the back. So I think that,
Mhm.
I mean, it's a good start, that's for sure.
Yeah, some of the
Would there be that much spec right underneath his visor? Because like if you look on the face, if the light's coming down, would that, because that part of his face is out ahead of his visor, so would it be that much in between his eyes where it's that bright
mhm.
spot?
Mhm.
Shouldn't that be a bit more in shadow maybe?
Yeah, like I think the argument could be made for either side because we don't really see the source of light for that like spotlight.
Mhm.
It's feels like it's angled like more toward him instead of being directly over him.
Yeah.
So I could see that making sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, like moving the light so that the cap casts more shadow would definitely change up the vibe of his like face.
Mhm.
So that would be just like a different. I think it would just be a different artistic choice.
Yep.
I don't mind this as much. Like I don't know. Other
Yeah,
than yeah,
trying to figure out where the light's coming from in relation to
yeah.
his.
The spotlight is a little bit like because it's not totally in the middle of the table.
Mhm.
Um, it doesn't feel. Yeah, it does feel a little bit angled. Yeah.
Yeah, because like if he's sitting in a house, you're usually gonna have. Well, I guess you could have like a floor lamp shining on you. So
Mhm.
yeah, I guess it could work either way. It just kind of was like, I was trying to figure.
Yeah.
And then another thing I would watch out for, these cards and some of the poker chips are like really blown out.
Yeah.
So just yeah, maybe bring those back. Yeah. Anything else from anyone?
Poker Puss getting some love these days.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll go to the next poker post just to have both back to back. But yeah, nice
Yeah.
work, Eva.
Yeah.
Uh, Next up, probably my favorite username I've seen, Voldemort Psychedelic Grandma. There are two submissions from them. So this is the Poker Puss, and there was some feedback left about that one. A bit hard to find a focal point right now. The neon light kind of draws their eye, and then offer some suggestions about just adjusting some of the lights, turning some off. Does like the mix of blue and neon pink.
Yeah, mainly about like choosing one focal point,
Hmm.
especially since it has like a central character.
Yeah.
If they want the character to stand out, then that's not because I do think like the set lighting is yeah, like Amber said, the set lighting is pretty successful with all the colors and it doesn't mix too much. But then yeah, the character is kind of not so much in focus.
Yeah. Yeah, and that could be kind of taking what is successful right now and kind of playing more to that with the character, probably darkening the background and bringing it up on the character.
Yeah, yeah, definitely the brightest part is that screen left wall.
Yeah.
You could change it up so that the character is brighter than that. There's also like lots of nice soft shadows from like identifiable light sources in the set, like right behind the statue, for example, or those that blue light screen right on the lamp. Like you feel that there's a bright spot and then it decays as it goes out, sort of. But then on the character, there's like you can see the influence of the pink light and the blue light, but there's also a lot of these harsh shadows that on the, especially on the tentacles, but also like sort of across the face and under the screen right eye and things, where it's like I don't really know what that source is.
Yeah.
But it's just, yeah, causing some of those like less attractive lines on our character.
Yeah, it almost feels like a cell shaded look just on the octopus's face, like a very like kind of cartoony look, and then the rest feels like not of that same style. So
Yeah.
definitely, yeah, looking into what's causing those lines would probably get you in the right direction. And it looks like there might be some comping issues or something going on with the lights, but like the legs, like these kind of blocky bits. Maybe it's just like multiple light sources, but like there's like this green being introduced, and then like these hard lines, and then the pink kind of coming through. So there's a lot going on with the legs. Yeah, like here makes me think it's a comp issue, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's just shadows.
Yeah.
Go on, Kat.
I said I almost wonder if the background is a plate and they tried to like poker puss to match the background, because I'm not seeing, because if you look, there's no like depth of, he looks flat against the background. So like there's no like ambient occlusion or anything really on the floor from where Poker Puss would be. It looks like he's stuck on the background. You don't get a sense of distance between him and the wall.
That could be, yeah, that could very much be, this could very much be a plate.
Yeah, so that's what I'm kind of wondering. If it's not a plate and you can move some of the lighting around, I'd say one thing you could try is move the neon to the wall behind Poker Puss, and then play off with like maybe a dark overlight, or change the color of the neon so that you're pulled direct, you're not constantly having your eyes pulled screen left, because the screen left, like, is the brightest part. But like I said, I'm wondering if they're comping Poker Puss onto this plate.
That's a good thought.
That would be the difference of how the style looks.
Yeah, and just because there's all these shadows from like the green fill or the green environment light that's making the shadows green, is like you can't really see that in the set. So yeah, I think you're actually right.
Yeah, that's a good spot.
If that's the case, then you're gonna have to find a way to pop Poker Puss off the background. So you might need some more blue rim lights or something to attract us more to him than the neon on the left.
And I'd say even go back to the basics. Like have one pink light, and then have two of these blue lights, and position them to where it feels realistic, and that you're use this as your primary source, and those as kind of rim lights or whatever you decide to do, but like keep it simple, and then expand from there.
Yeah, I totally agree. Maybe like if you want a fresh start, and then there's like several clearly identifiable light sources with like some characteristics that you can pull from in the set. So you would have like one pink light that's fairly big, and you can see what kind of shadows that pink light would cast by looking, at the right behind the statue. Or obviously, if this is a full image, you will have the parts that are covered by Poker Puss to like pull references from, and just look at how those shadows look, and sort of try to change the perimeters of the light so that the shadows match and we don't get so many harsh shadows. Because most of the light sources are a little bit softer in the background, and you can see like what kind of light comes from the door by it's casting that rim on the sofa, which you actually have going on Poker Puss. Like that's convincing. But yeah, I would just get rid of the blue, or start with getting rid of that green light that's filling the shadows, and then just do like a blue light and a pink light and get it to, show up in a appealing way. Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe pick a different HDR image for the outside of the door, because unless this is like a tiny house out in the middle of the nowhere where he's gambling, it looks like very much like a boudoir, like a boat, like a gambling den scene. But then you look outside and he's kind of like in the middle of the desert. So
Yeah, it's like on a, well, this could be like on some planet, like
Yeah.
where this octopus, because where is this octopus
Yeah,
with
I
me
love
anyway?
we're questioning the location of the set, not the octopus playing poker with itself.
yeah, I'm fine with. He can play poker himself. Make sure he's in the right scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's definitely such a fun like lighting scenario to match if you pick this backplate. And yeah, I definitely, I first saw this, I got like tattoo parlor kind of vibes.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, this would be, and the character would fit right in, if you just have to work on the integration a little bit.
Yeah.
The other thing you could do, because it looks like you're getting some top-down light, but you don't really see a source, is go find a chandelier that fits this vibe and just hang a little chandelier that you can see in the scene, and that'll kind of help you integrate Pokerpuss to the scene, and you could definitely play with the lighting that way too. You could find like an antique chandelier somewhere, like on CG Trader or something, and then hang that and use that as a source of light, and that might be kind of fun to play with too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got options. Feel free to ask questions in the Discord if you need any further explanation or anything. But it's really cool.
Yeah.
Anyone else want to add anything to this? All right, we'll move on to Voldemort Psychedelics Grandma 2. I love the idea of this, of like there being a little robot baby with
Yeah.
So that's really cool. Anyone have any thoughts right away?
We're gonna have the eye issue again, aren't we, with this one?
I mean, I feel like this is pretty good on that front.
I like the way the eyes almost feel like moons. Like there's like the way the textures look, they kind of feel like the moon surface.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, it does.
I'll pop over to the channel real quick to see what Amber said. Amber said maybe a small vignette to this, just to pull the characters out some more. Lighting's beautiful. Specular on the eyes are too bright. Liking the shadowy areas where the robot's sitting. And the gradation of the books. And then softer shadows.
The little guy is.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are good. Mm-hmm.
Should there be a bit more darkness on the front of the face because the light's coming from the back? Like, should the rim light be stronger, but then the fill light be weaker? The fill to key ratio. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I almost think the strongest light might just be a little too strong. If you look at like the top right rim on the main robot, the center robot, or like the book right in between the two robots, the light directly hitting there is really, really strong.
Mm-hmm.
And it does feel like there's a bunch of like indirect bounce noise in the shadows. So maybe just bringing down that really, really strong light a little bit would be a start.
I almost maybe, because we do have the spec on the eyes from the front, maybe try just doing some iterations with just the backlight on and maybe a bounce plane to see how much reflected light you can get without putting a light on in front of the robots. and maybe play more with making it more of like a bounce light on their face instead of a light directly on them, if that makes sense. Or like a light with a bigger radius on the front of their face, and then making the back brighter.
Yeah,
well, not brighter, but in relation to the front. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, like, what's nice, like the back plate's really nice because there's like this the background has like this it feels like there's clearly the source of the sun.
Right.
And then I think you're right, like this shouldn't be blown out here, like on his eye. And so I think Diana, like, yeah, bringing down the values of like the sun source, and then the rim like being this bright, like you're saying, Diana, doesn't make sense, especially if you look here at this tree as reference.
Yeah.
The tree's getting this nice, like kind of warm, bright light hitting it from the side, and then it's falling into darkness, into shadow on this right side. And I think your characters would probably have a similar effect, since since they look to be being affected by the same source. And yeah, like the brightness, like this is like solid green right now. Which might maybe a texture thing too, or like a missing texture or something.
Yeah, I do feel like the scene is like mostly diffuse things, mostly diffuse like properties on all the materials.
Yeah.
Which like I think is like working, because especially because of the backplate is also just like a illustration, which is flatter. So I think it could work, but might want to like try out and test with, because I think also the Poker Puss was also pretty matte. So you might want to play, like look at your shaders and see if there's something that's like not letting the specular value come through, or maybe you don't have that setting. Like that's not something I'm saying you need, because this could work, because it's like a cute little scene, and I think going the diffuse route could work for this scene, but it's just something to like test with and play around with if you're not familiar.
Exactly.
Hey, can I share my screen really quick? Or actually, I'm just gonna DM you this link, and then you guys can post it up. I was looking up references.
Sure. Okay.
So I'm gonna just DM you Forrest, and you can pop it up on your screen.
That sounds great. You can also put it in the chat if you want, in the whip.
Oh, the whip. Okay, I will put it in the whip chat. Okay, so I'm gonna.
Another suggestion would be on like the character materials and whatnot. Like, if you want to play the specular like Dan is talking about, play with the roughness. Like maybe to get that art look, you can push the roughness of the specular a good bit, so it has like a bigger, blockier feel.
All right, I posted the link in the work in progress for there if you pull it up. So I just Googled reading books in windowsills.
Yeah, this is a great reference.
Yeah.
And I think this is similar to what they're trying to do. But like the key to fill ratio is different than what they have on there. So
yeah. What were you gonna say? Were you gonna say anything, Diana?
Yeah, I was gonna say this is a great reference to like look at. You can gather a lot of things from this, like, so we're exposing for the interior and the child, so the outside gets a lot brighter just overall, and then things like the sky and where the sun is coming from or where the sun is hitting gets like almost white on the outside. So you would want to play with, like, on your background plate, you can make it brighter, like just in Photoshop or whatever you feel comfortable with, and try like putting that there instead. So the lighting would make a little bit more sense. Yeah, it's all about like getting that balance to make your lights feel motivated, and to make it integrate with, like, if you're using an image as background and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, this is a really good reference for that. And like look at like the
Mhm.
complexity of the like how the light is really harsh here, like directly where the sun's kind of making connection with her hair. Um,
Mhm.
and then kind of as
Yeah,
it's more glancing, it's getting softer, and then we have these nice soft shadows on her arm, and then the
Mhm.
pink from her dress is kind of bouncing onto her arm. Yeah, there's a lot of nice stuff going on.
and I think the big thing too to take from this reference would be the lighting on your book. Because if you look back to theirs, where'd it go? Scroll. Do, 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 do. Like, I don't think, just based on how the book looks in that reference to here, it wouldn't be, I don't think you'd have as much, it wouldn't be so bright on the part facing us
Hmm.
because it'd be more in shadow. So that's kind of something else to think about too.
Hmm. Anyone else?
Yeah, I just want to like lastly just like add on to when I was saying before that the key light is too bright if you look at the book like that. I was saying that because it's too bright for what we're seeing outside the window. So it's just about, yeah, getting it to match and make sense so that it feels natural when we're looking at it. So if you want the key light to be that bright, you can just brighten the outside. If you want to keep the outside as it is, then you would want to like dim it down. So that's more what I was saying instead of, I'm not saying the key light is just too bright, period. So if you want to keep that light bright, you can just play with the outside instead. So yeah. Um, it is like blowing out a little bit on those books, but I'm just saying I'm not telling you to like kill that light by
Yeah.
half or anything.
Yeah. And then maybe keep an eye out. Something seems to be going on here. Um,
Hmm.
there with both
There's
of.
also, yeah, on the windowsill at the top where there's like a half line of light and bright. I saw that. I remember seeing that on some on a submission back
Mm,
when this was the challenge. I don't really know what the issue is. I It might be just a light that's like going through the window there,
mhm,
or like, yeah, just check what's causing that. It could be the shader or just one light that's causing it. So
for sure.
to look out for that. Yeah.
Mm, nice work.
Yeah.
Um, lastly, I have
Oh.
this, which I've been working on. This is an animation doing for somebody, or this is the lighting for an animation that I'm doing for someone. Um, and I got some feedback about removing the moonlight that's on his hand and that he kind of walks into, and I agree with it. I just haven't done it yet, but yeah, I'd love to hear what people think, get some feedback.
Evil man.
I actually kind of like
You,
the moonlight.
Mm,
you know what I'm thinking now? I feel like his face is really mean, but his shirt is so nice. Like, it's like a fuzzy little holiday jammy situation.
yeah.
I didn't notice it like the other freaking 4 times that I saw it, but just now
Yeah.
looking at it, I'm like, that's like looks like really comfortable shirt.
Yeah. Well, villains have got to be comfy too, you know?
Yeah, I mean, the whole place looks like nice and cozy. So, no, I'm just kidding. The place looks appropriate.
But yeah. Any other thoughts?
I like the moonlight on him when
I
he
Mm.
moves forward. I think it looks cool.
it's yeah something that we're talking like so when it happens here, once you kind of we get into this area, the face is split 50-50, moonlight and kind of interior light, and it um, isn't very appealing, and it
Well,
doesn't feel very like motivated or realistic that they would compete like this.
yeah, but well, I that's yeah, I agree with that, but I'm wondering if maybe because is the only is this the whole animation or is there more that he moves around the space more?
Nope, this is the whole animation.
I almost think you could pull back the light on the screen right side of his face, so when he moves forward, that side falls in shadow and he's lit from the moonlight side.
That's a good
Yeah,
thought.
I think you could do what you did for the moonlight. So have like the moonlight closer to camera and then the warm light farther.
Yeah.
So that he goes from one to the other. But also, I think the moonlight, I think it would be cool if you could get it more like a rim on his shoulder when he does this, like shoulder and wherever on his face, but like that moonlight that's coming from the side, I feel like is looks really good on those figurines. But on him, it's just like half his face.
Yeah, there's not a lot of shaping going on.
You know what I mean? Yeah, like I think that would be cool to have it like a little bit stronger but tighter. So yeah, catching some like edges on his ears and shoulders and like over here or whatever, wherever.
Yeah, I can
So
definitely
it's
play
like
with that.
definitely there. Yeah.
Yeah, you could do that. Maybe even like pull it back towards the back side of the frame, so it is angled more up, so like he gets more shadow across like his cheek, and it really focuses on the eye and his mouth. So like he's coming into the scene, and the moonlight pulls you into his eyes and his face, and you could darken up the lantern light a little bit. So he basically, like the lantern light being a warm light, it makes him feel less intimidating, but the moonlight as he moves forward, because it's a cooler light, like it seems more threatening. So that would actually make him feel more threatening as he moves closer to screen.
Yeah.
Or closer to camera.
Yeah, I think he looks really good in the first part. Maybe except like how strong the moonlight is on his hand. Maybe it's a little bit too strong, but I think his face looks really nice there. But when he leans forward, like, yeah, and now it's more thinking out loud. But when he leans forward, I like if we're turning this cool side to be more like a rim, the warm side, as Kat said earlier, could be more like a rim too. And then he could just be like subtly underlit with fill light so that we don't get that line down his mouth and like under his eyes and stuff.
Yeah.
So we get his full face for acting, but it would be like more menacing too, because it would be like more backlit.
Yeah.
I have a scene that I need to start lighting. It's an animation, and it reminds me of this because it's a little corgi, and it's the dialogue they used is from Sherlock. It's one of the Benedict Cumberbatch version. It's one of Moriarty's lines. And so that character tends to start out talking very friendly and then gets dark and deep and then gets friendly again. So it's got to be a whole thing where he starts out cute and happy, and then the dog starts snarling and he's like, I want to watch you burn. And then he goes happy and wags his tail again. So I'm going to have to do something similar with that, with the lighting, to make the dog look super intimidating and scary. So I'm like, oh, what I was going to probably do with that is like have flames in the dog's eyes or something. But well, because I'll show it to you. I'll post it. I'll post the video of it. It's so adorable.
Nice.
But yeah, it's
yeah.
very much it's like one camera angle, so it'll be much easier than a lot of the other stuff I've lit. I just haven't gotten to it yet. But yeah. So I think you should do that. Is just flip the lighting, so as he moves forward, he moves farther away from the warm, happy light and more into the scary, cooler light.
Yeah. I think that's something I definitely will play with. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, how did you do the set on this one? Did you like have to texture it, or is it?
Yeah, I textured it. It was from the Pixar.
Cabin.
Yeah, it's the cabin.
Oh, nice.
And then I just
good job
textured it. Yeah, it was really fun. Like it's been fun. Like some of it I just would use procedurals for, and some of it I pull from like Polyhaven, and then some I did in particularly him I did in Substance Painter.
Yeah.
So it was a very fun texturing book dev project.
What's with the seams on his shoulders?
So they almost feel like skin popping through. That's something that I'm working on. I just need to change the color, so that
Oh,
it's from when the shirt used to be red.
oh, okay.
And so
I was like,
I
is
need to bring it
he
more. Yeah, it looks like he's about to Hulk out of the shirt or something.
out the shirt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like reverse, he goes from green to normal skin tone instead of normal skin tone
Yeah.
to green.
Yep.
But look, yeah, it looks good so far, and I like.
Yeah, it looks good.
Characters, they're cute. They're not cute, but I like how you have the little characters in there to kind of give you something with the to play with depth of field. Little action figures.
Yeah, yeah. The animator had those in, and then I just kind of played around with texture a bit. I was like, it's like I like how people have the hobby of mini painting, like,
Yeah.
and I just was doing it in 3D instead.
Yeah, that's cool. It's cool.
Sweet. Well, yeah. Thank you everyone for the feedback.
Yeah, looking good.
The only
Yeah.
just really quick, Forrest.
Yeah. Of course.
The background, the white beams, are those supposed to be metal? Like on the top above his head? Is that supposed to be like a metal shelving or what is
It's
that?
the moonlight kind of in the like coming through the cracks.
It's like a streaking thing. Okay.
But yeah, I see what you
Oh,
mean right
like
now.
through the window.
Yeah, maybe make it a
Or
bit
like,
more
or the actual asset has spaces between the wood.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
so because I have a volumetric moonlight in the background, that's it's this is what it's been looking like recently.
Okay. I was just checking. So
No,
like, what?
I mean that's a good thought and something I can play around with. Sweet. Thanks everyone.
Yep.
Thank you.
So that's the end of the feedback portion. And we'll stop the recording and we can just, everyone else welcome to kind of just hang around chat. And if you have some questions or want to talk about Arcane or something, we can do that. But yeah, thank you everybody for joining and giving feedback and submitting work, and see you all next time. See everybody.